Hello, this is Steve John Boddy with Life Changing Finish Lines, your coach, race director, and athlete. So let's talk about one of my favorite subjects in the whole world, Triathlon 101 for beginners. So let's see here, 2024 will be basically the 24th year plus that I've coached beginner triathletes. I was the original club founder of the Endura team, 1997. So lots of amazing beginners in that, only that original club, but all these years of teaching Triathlon 101, either as the actual instructor or the person who built the syllabus and taught the people how to run the classes. But now I'm kind of back to the roots. I've been teaching Triathlon 101 as the sole coach for a couple of years now, and met some amazing people. And so 2024 looks like it's going to be a pretty fascinating year with two communities already having classes announced, and we'll probably announce one or two more soon. And that's just for the spring campaign. We may end up doing there for a lot of years we actually did a Triathlon 101 class for beginners in the summer and the fall. It's super fun. Some really amazing people. I think over the years, you're probably averaging 10, 11, 12 athletes a year for 24 years. And over all those times, only 2 people have not finished their first triathlon. And again, this is also duathlon, right, too? So this is classes for the beginner runner cyclist as well. So where are we gonna do this? So we'll start the first week of March in Muncie, Indiana, and Newcastle. Home bases will be up to be decided. We'll probably learn how to swim at the YMCA in Newcastle and Ball State or something at Muncie until we can find a different pool. But so those 2 towns, the class is 12 weeks long. We all pick each class will pick the race that they're going to do. We can talk about that in a little bit, but everybody tries to do the same race together. No one that has done a triathlon or duathlon can take the class because, listen, I've been doing this a long time, and the wrong voice gets you to the wrong finish line or no finish line. And anybody that says, oh, I did 2 of them, and here's the 39 things, and they just go on, and they mean well, but they're not building someone, they're just relating their experience. And well, that's great. 2 or 3 triathlons down the road, it ain't great for the first one you're doing. And again, I've had friends that decided, I don't want to take the class. I'm just going to go, show up with all you guys, and we're going to. They were in the medical tent in a sprint, almost didn't finish, or were the absolute dead last person because they had absolutely no clue what they were doing. And I, not that way, walk up to them, scream for them at the finish line. Everybody rounds up from the hometown. We go down there and show them, and they're the last person, doesn't matter. Totally doesn't matter. They're still the first person in their friends and their age group and their entire family to do a triathlon, and what they do today, they did their first triathlon, everybody else's, their booty was on the couch at home. So you're a finisher, it's amazing. But after the race, they come walking up to me and go, oh my God, that was the dumbest, hardest. What was your time? And I go, no, you don't need to know what my time is. You need to know what that guy's time is. He's 25 years older than you. And he finished the day before you did on a sprint. And they're like, how do you do all? And they start asking all these questions. And I go, next class starts September 1st. And they're in it. They're hooked, except for the part where they don't know nothing. And they come take the next class and the next race, the next year. Now they've done, a couple of this and a couple of that, and they show up at their first race in the second year, and they spray 30 minutes off a sprint triathlon. That's a whole nother person. That's a different species, right? And after that second time they did that race, they come up and go, dude, that was so much fun. We had such a great time last year. And well, anyway, you get the drift. So we know who, it's 18 and over in these classes. It's a 12-week class. We'll get into all that. So the 12 weeks. What I've learned over the years of doing this class for so long is that I really take the practical approach. We're going to teach you how to swim. I can teach people how to swim. Taught all these people. Almost no one that takes the class is a swimmer. I bet I can count on one hand in all those people that were actually swimmers that took the class. Almost all the beginners are non-swimmers. I mean, literally, they're afraid to get their face wet. And 5 lessons into it, they're, wow, and the lifeguard's going, who is that guy in the water? Well, that was the guy that was here a month ago, and he came down the ladder and got in the water instead of jumping in and swimming laps and looking like a swimmer. Yeah, I can teach people how to swim. It's a gift. I love it. It's super fun. I've had 60-year-old, 64-year-old, 69-year-old, couldn't swim a stick. 5 lessons into it, they're like, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. We'll get into a little bit of the benefits here in the why part. But 12-week classes, very practical. Be a few. What I kind of like to do is half instruction, half action in the first couple of classes. So we'll discuss things. We'll do a swim practice. We'll all register for the race, have a discussion, do a swim practice. And then it's just on and on. We do a cycling class. We talk about it a little bit. We go through all the proper bike setup. I'm actually going to film a bike setup for the Raider Rush Triathlon Club at Wapahani High School here in a couple of days. So we're going to set people's bikes up for them. We're going to teach them a little bit of how to pedal. Again, amazing opportunity in my lifetime to be about a bunch of pro cyclists and a bunch of bike fit guys, velodrome dudes that, you know, super fast lady triathletes. You see them go by and you're like, oh, that's what it's supposed to look like. Dang, I don't look like that. Practical. And then once the weather gets a little bit better, it's every other week, right, for 12 weeks. Every other week, there's 12 classes, so it's about 24 weeks. Get down into the summer and we'll pick a race. But then we get outside, we teach you open water swimming, we teach you cycling together in a group on the greenway, obviously. On the roads, we're not doing that. How to run off the bike. Ooh, doggies. Again, that's what almost no beginners ever get. No one, zero, me, everybody. Nobody knows how to get off the bike in the first race and to know what you're doing. You got to know what you're doing. Because if you don't know how to get off that bike, you know what you look like? I don't give a darn who you are. I don't give a darn if you're a 20-minute 5K or a 17-minute 5. No. You get off that bike and your pace and your legs and you're doing what we call the triathlon shuffle. You're toast. Your legs are French fried. You think I gotta go slow because it hurts. And dude, ladies and gentlemen, my legs have hurt so bad. What's the old joke? Screwdriver stuck into a telephone pole. That's what my thighs felt like. Oh yeah, been there, done that. But this is the exact wrong way to do it. This is the right way to do it. Sprint, fartlek out there, right? You got to get off the bike and learn how to run. Because if you don't, I don't give a darn who you are. You're doing the triathlon shuffle. Woo, it's bad. Okay, so why? We'll talk about the end here. Why do we do it? So first of all, I don't care what your age group is, right? I've taught 16-year-olds, 18-year-olds, and we had some kids classes. I've taught 69-year-olds, right? Why do you do it? First of all, again, most every one of those people are not swimmers. So I would say the vast majority of people that come to Triathlon 101 class are runners. And again, don't discount the fact that boyfriend, girlfriend, husband and wife, brother and sister, mom and dad. Dude, I've had so many couples and relations and brothers and sisters that did this. Boyfriend, girlfriend, a lifelong connection to doing their first triathlon together. We'll talk about what the finish line is supposed to look like here in a second. But why? Well, first of all, when you learn the proper swimming technique, right? It's just something you can take with you the rest of your life. And so as a runner, as a cyclist, I can't, as a football player, as a wrestler, dumb stuff. I can't tell you how many leg injuries I've had over the years. Broken this, broken that, 10 of these, two of these. I mean, yeah, it's nuts. One of these, one collarbone. But swimming is so good for you and so low impact, but, a huge but, you got to learn to put your hand and your elbow in the right place. You got to learn to roll in the water. There's bids on Life-Changing Finish Lines and what it's, again, I'm not a super fast swimmer, but my form's pretty decent. I would say I'm in the 9 range. And again, I'm not super fast. I used to be when I was younger, but we'll talk about that. But I learned how to do it right. So these shoulders have got millions of yards in them. And again, look, I did it wrong in the first couple of years when I got into the sport. I was jacking my hand over the air like this and doing, I thought I was all, and all of a sudden I go to the shoulder doc and I'm like, dude, I can't get my spoon to my mouth. What am I doing right here? And he said, man, what's the doc called? There's a word for it. I think it's impingement. He said, well, I think you need to go under the knife. I said, whoa. Is there other choices? He said, well, you can do these stretch bands 30 hours a week. I'm like, I'm doing the stretch bands 40 hours a week or whatever that number was. So I stretched band out of it, but I also started going to swimmers and going, does it hurt right here when you do that? And I go, no, that's because you're doing it wrong. Well, maybe I should watch you. So then I go to Ball State University here in Muncie, Indiana, and I start watching the really, really, really fast swimmers, the guys that are, 9'9", 9'97". I'm like, their hand's in a totally different place than mine is. Maybe that's the problem. And so I started learning how to do that. And now I've coached. That was 98, 99 maybe. It was probably even sooner than that. It was probably 95. So learning how to swim the right way is something you can take with you the rest of your life. That is really more important, in my opinion, even than your first triathlon, even the amount of money you're paying for a Triathlon 101 class, which is, of course, on Life-Changing Finish Line's webpage and all that checkout stuff. But look, the opportunity to take a sport with you from age 25, 35, 45, all the way up to age 75, 85, whatever the Lord's going to give you. We had a 95-year-old swimming at the Y that I was at. Really actually pretty good form, right? Dude was in the water 6 days a week. He's 95 years old. He's still going back and forth. Now look, he ain't breaking no land speed record. He ain't no, Masters age group world champion, none of that. But guess what? He had 32-inch waist. He still had guns. He's 95 years old. Now he's doing a lot more backstroke now, but he was a pretty good swimmer as a younger kid. Did it all his life. Cut down on those repetitive motion injuries in your feet and your knees. And, you go up to him, and I'm not going to say his name. He's passed away since then. But I'd say, have you ever had any shoulder problems? Nope. Well, the stroke looked good. I said, have you ever had, knees and hips? And, he said, nope. I said, this is all original parts minus the teeth, which that's a whole other story. And I said, well, what'd you do when you were young? He said, I ran all the time, man. It was a 60s, 70s running craze, and we were running all the time. And I said, how many miles a week did you run? He said, oh, shit, probably 60, 70, 80. Man, you're kidding me, right? And yet, he said, no, I always came in and swam. So I stayed fit. So you can take this fitness with you for the rest of your life. Because look, we're all going to get joint issues and joint problems and accidents and slippages. And, I busted my keister walking out of my house one day and thought I broke my kneecap. Couldn't do a darn thing for almost 2 weeks, but I swam a lot of yards, right? And just stuck the pool buoy in and didn't move my knee at all. So it's a life-changing education on how to take a sport with you for the rest of your life and mix it up. You get bored running, swim for 6 months. It's great for you. It's also really awesome, right? Because learning to swim makes you a better runner, straight up. You can only run as fast as your weakest muscle. Swimming strengthens everything. I'm going to go on a limb and say, and I'm not a doctor, that strengthens every single muscle on your body, all of them. The behind your ear one, I don't even know what that one's called. Top of your head, whatever that one's called. But that's one of the whys. So lastly, why take Triathlon 101? So you've embarked on a journey to improve your own fitness, right? As Robert Kennedy says in the famous speech, Ripples, you've decided to take your life and your pebble and you've dropped it in the pond called your family, your work, your friends. Because chances are most triathlon, and again, no one in Triathlon 101 in all these years has ever done one before. So the opportunity to lead by example and be that person. You know what? To be honest with you, I never gave a darn about what anybody's times were. Never. All I wanted my first time people to do was get to the finish line in whatever means legally possible, right? I mean, you got to have the gear, you got to have a helmet, you got to have a bike, you might want some running shoes, yada, yada, right? But two things I've always told everybody about Triathlon 101. That pebble is going to change your life, but it's also going to change everybody that sees you, okay? So you need to be prepared for that. And one of the ways to be prepared, there's actually three. There's a cute little one we'll talk about. The first one is be prepared by telling everybody you're going to do it and invite every single family member. That's why you signed up on class number 2. Commit, get out. I'm not. That's the way life is. Committed the second class, sign the registration form. You know, back in the old days we had paper, now you go online and we all sit there and we all do it. And this 10 people, we're all going to this June 9th race. Period. Have a nice day. Because you got to commit. And as soon as you commit, you're telling everybody, your spouse, your brother, your kid, your sister, the cat, the dog, the babysitter, I don't give a darn. Everybody should be there. You can get there at that finish line. And again, if you tell them you're going to be there an hour and 42 minutes and you're there 2 hours and 42 minutes, I don't give a darn. They need to be there. Get everyone there because you are now going to change their life. And I can't tell you, you look at life-changing finish lines, that little girl that's in the air, she's a triathlete now. How powerful is that? He's a teenager now doing triathlons, kicking everybody's butt because her mom and dad were triathletes and started doing races. And they probably started racing 2003. I think it's about 10 years they've been in it from what they told me. Amazing. They're actually on life-changing finish lines on the Facebook page, right? 2, make sure somebody in that family is in charge of taking pictures. You're not in charge of taking pictures. Maybe your spouse is not in charge of taking pictures, right? Because they need to be there to hug on you and yada, yada, and put the medal over your neck and whatever. Somebody should be taking pictures because I'd give anything, probably, outside of, human beings, to have pictures of my first race. I didn't take any pictures. We leaned our bike against a tree. There was no transition, really. There was no fence. There was no bike racks. Take pictures. And the other thing I'm going to tell you, and that ripple effect, right? Don't wash your numbers off. Don't wash your numbers off the day of the race. Whatever you're going to do that night, go to it with numbers all over you. I don't give a darn what it is. I don't care if you're going to a rock concert. I don't care if you, by the way, we had somebody go to a wedding, and I'll tell you about that. We actually had somebody go to a funeral as well. Their father actually passed away in front of them right after the race at a hospital locally. Don't wash your numbers off. Because it's super powerful. As one of the ladies that did this was probably 2005 maybe, she had a wedding right after the race. And she's like, what do I do? And I told her, don't wash your numbers off. Sleeveless dress. And then actually the bride, and she was a bridesmaid. The bride asked more questions about what she did that day after everybody figured out what 169 was right here in permanent marker. She walked around the ready. 169, 31 on her calf, 169 here, 169 on the, yeah. Everybody wanted to know what the heck that's going. Are you livestock? What happened here? No, I did a triathlon today. Almost to a person, except for her family that had actually come to the race, had no clue what the heck she was talking about. What's a triathlon? What'd you do? Well, I did a 400-yard swim, which is typically what this is, 400-yard swim, 10, 12, 14-mile bike, and a 5K, typically. And again, a lot of do's are either 5K, 10, 11, 12-mile bike, 5K, or 1 mile bike, whatever, and a 5K. So the do is super fun, right? You don't have to be a swimmer. Don't think you have to be a swimmer to take this class. But again, after the race, don't wash the numbers off, because it's amazing the influence you now have. You have the influence now to change those people's lives. And so do it and be excited and lead by example. And shit, in today's day and age, get your phone out and show everybody the pictures, or go on, stick them on Facebook or whatever social media, and show people what you did, because now that life-changing finish line becomes a ripple. It becomes you changing other people's lives. And, you know, darn it, life-changing finish lines, we'd love to have your family and friends in the next class, because it's beautiful, right? Because it does. It makes a huge difference in your life and the people around you. Again, you know, one of the secrets we always talk about is hiring a coach. So we'd love to have you at Life Changing Finish Lines. I'd love to be your coach. We're going to be introducing some of the other coaches here pretty soon. But enjoy. Peace out.